Hey there! Welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and in this week's vlog you will see my interview with Nitrous Oxide and the story behind his classic North Pole. And we also speak about his brand new artist album as well. But before we start with the interview, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and very important, also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. Alright, here it is, the story behind North Pole, my interview with Nitrous Oxide. Enjoy! Nitrous Oxide is an alias from Polish DJ and producer Krzysztof Prętkiewicz. Some of the tracks he released as Nitrous Oxide on Above and Beyond's label Anjunabeats are Morning Light, Amnesia, Redmoon Slide, Show Me, Aurora, Dreamcatcher, Waves and many more. But his very first release on Anjunabeats was the track North Pole, which came out back in the year 2006. For this week's vlog I sat down with Chris to ask him about the story behind North Pole, but we also spoke about his upcoming artist album Redmoon as well. My first question to him was around what age he started to listen to music.
Yeah, I started from my start actually, because music was always in my house. As I remember, my dad was working for a company that produced cassettes actually.
Oh.
So we had a good source of new music actually. So all those new albums that was worth listening, he just brought to our house. And as I remember, yeah, we were listening to it every day. Really often she brings up new music, like new albums, of course, most popular artists, but also those less popular. He really liked some more progressive electronic kind of music, like Jean-Michel Jarre and things like Depeche Mode, also Vollenweider, some Mike Oldfield albums. We actually have all of them probably on cassettes. So yeah, we always had a lot of this kind of music. Of course, a lot of things like the most popular artists back then, like Tina Turner and Michael Jackson, Genesis. My mom was a fan and still is a big fan of Phil Collins. So Genesis was also like, we had a huge collection of those cassettes. We didn't have much CD because it was even before the CD's era. I still have it's funny, I still have this cassette player that we are listening to this music. It's in my garage. Unfortunately, it's not working. Also had this big collection of cassettes, but it's hard to play it on that deck. It was a mini tower, like Sony Hi-Fi from 90s. It still works well, but cassette players just needs to be repaired.
Yeah, there you go.
You know how it is. It's just sucking the tape, and it's not possible to listen to it.
So around what age did you start with making music yourself?
I think it was like I was 14, 15 years old when I get my first PC. We actually get the first PC in our house. Of course, as a teenage, first thing that I was doing on those PC was video games. But I saw those commercial about this game programs about producing music, like, you know, making puzzles from some sound, which was really excited to me, that you can make actually something yourself. It was programs like EJ and Magic's Music Maker. So I really wanted to try this, and actually when I get this program, that was in late 90s. Let's say that was the first experience with making music. I never had any instruments before, like electronic instruments, but trying myself on PC and just gluing some sounds, making some first arrangements, it shows me that this is something that I want to do in the future. After just a few months of playing with those programs, I just feel like it's not enough to me. I just want to go a bit more, be a little bit more creative than only using samples and gluing the sample loops. So I started to search for other programs, and I found out, actually a friend of mine told me about FL Studio. It was Fruity Loops back then, and then actually started really
Making
music myself. Yes, because I had some more creative tools for making it, and it was definitely more advanced sequencer with giving opportunity to hook up other third-party programs to it. So yeah, that was the moment, I think somewhere around 99, 2000, when I started to making my own songs. Primarily recorded it to cassettes at the really start. Then I had the CD burner, so started to recording it to CDs and showing to my friends first. And it really quickly went to some local DJs who started to inviting me for parties. Even when I was underage, I had some first proposition of playing on some local really small clubs. It was like for 40, 50 people, but that was my actually start with DJing.
You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, of course. But it was also really funny because there was one guy who actually get my music on a cassette and he invited me for playing first party. He didn't have a full DJ console. He only have the one CDJ, like the 100S, the DJ M500, I think, and at the other side it was a regular Hi-Fi Technics CD player. And that time I was playing also with some Numark DJ software on my PC, and started to gluing beats. And I remember he was definitely older than me. He was just playing some tracks from one to another, and then when he invited me to this party, I actually start beat mixing those tracks from one side to another, and then using this only one jack with pitch actually correction, mixing to other side, which was pretty hard for usually DJs. But yeah, that was pretty cool. He said, "Hey dude, how are you doing this? It's really cool." Like a pro. I just said, I just try it myself on PC, and I can show if you want.
Cool. So do you remember your very first ever release?
My very first ever release, if we are talking about vinyl release, it was a track in Somatic Sense, Profuse. Actually, that was the first track that was released under the name Redmoon. It was a group with my friend Kamil Bigaj. We've been producing several tracks before. That was also released, but only on a digital, and the label was called Transformate, something more underground. But the first release that actually was starting to be recognized, it was a track called Diving in the Sky, which actually, after being releasing by DJ Precision in Somatic Sense Profuse, actually sub-label, it's been also played by Armin on a State of Trance radio show, and this was a really big success to me, to us actually, and it actually starts our journey in all this trance scene because after that we also released a few more singles. Then one of them, after 3 years, was also released on A State of Trance, which was really huge success. It was called Monsoon. But also during this time, I started to release my own releases as Nitrous Oxide and also as M2O and Pascal's label. And really quickly, it was during the same year actually, I get the contacts to Anjunabeats, and they actually decided to release my first single out there.
Yeah, that's the one we're going to talk about, North Pole, a track that came out back in the year 2006 via Anjunabeats. Yeah, as you said already, you used the name Nitrous Oxide for that project. How did you come up with the name Nitrous Oxide?
As I told you, I was also playing video games on my PC. One of my favorite game was Need for Speed. Actually, the whole series. I'm still a big fan of cars and car racing. So I decided to go with this alias, as of course my surname and my real name is a bit hard to pronounce for people from other countries. It's Krzysztof Prętkiewicz, which also makes a lot of problems with pronunciation. So I decided to go with this alias, especially that it's something that in motorsport, giving power and energy to engines, to cars. So I say it's quite similar as the kind of music like I started to produce. So yeah, this is how I came up with this name.
Got it. So was there anything that inspired you when you started to work on North Pole?
Yes, actually I was inspired by overall the scene, mostly those British guys, also guys from here, from Netherlands, who was producing music. Just back few years back, like 3 years earlier, I actually heard for the first time about Armin van Buuren, about Above and Beyond, about guys like Launch, Thrill Seekers. Many of those artists before actually never heard about them, but I met one guy who actually showed me this music. Yeah, it was actually a bit funny story, because when I was starting to producing, I also made I think that was my first actually trance track that I produced. It was a remix of Energy 52, Coffee Del Mar, and I did it in 2002 or 2003. Yeah, actually 20 years ago, 2003. So I also sent it to my friend. He showed it to another friend, who showed to another one, and this guy wanted to connect with me and start chatting, because he said, dude, it's absolutely amazing. I never heard any Polish guy had produced a track like this. So yeah, we really quickly started to chat a lot about the music, and this is how a kind of synergy that between us. He showed me a lot of music. He started showing me like A State of Trance, Trance Around the World auditions that he was just downloading from the internet. I was, whoa, what's this? It's something different, but it's beautiful. And this is how I actually started to listen to this music. And back then, after very, very quick time, I started to searching the options to make sounds like this, to find out how they actually produce music to have this fantastic sound. And even that I didn't have any synthesizers, only produce it and make all my music on inside the PC, inside the AEW. it was really hard to achieve this kind of sound. But yeah, I was really stubborn in it, and after a few months of searching, discussing with other guys on forum boards who also was fan of this music, I just started to be a bit close to this sounding. So yeah, I was really inspired by those artists, especially Above and Beyond and Armin. As I said, also Ferry Corsten was a huge inspiration for my sound back then. So yeah, this is how I tried to achieve this level of sounding, which was hard, but I think I did it.
Yeah, you did it. So can you tell a bit more about the production process of North Pole?
Yeah, actually the North Pole was one of these tracks that I just sat in front of my PC because I had an idea and I started to produce it. It took really short time. I think that I made all the track during like 6 hours or 7 hours because I was so boosted by those things that happened before it, because that was the time actually that Above and Beyond played my first track that I sent to them. It was the B-side track from the single, The Frozen Dreams. I actually sent them a few demos with my music, and that was the first one that they really enjoyed, so they decided to play it on their radio show Trance Around the World. And after the first airing of this tune, their audience, their fans decided to choose this track as Record of the Week on their forum board. It gives me really big, push me for like a boost for making music. I was really excited about it. It gives me a lot of endorphins, and I think this is how it happened, that this track was just so pure, inspired by Anjunabeats artists sounding, that I actually just sat down in the studio in front of my computer, because that was my studio back then, with headphones on. And after spending the whole evening and actually few hours, the track was made, which was incredible. Of course, I had some kind of sounds that I used in this track that I was working on previously. Tried to achieve some kind of cool sounding plucky lead sound, so I used it in this track. But when I just have the idea for melodies and for all harmonies, it was like just straight making a song in a few hours, and it was something beautiful. And of course, after this, immediately, actually the same day, I just sent this track to server and sent the link to Anjunabeats promo email. And actually the day after this, I received the amazing information that they want to release it as a single, as an EP, with Frozen Dreams on the B-side. So it was, something amazing to me. It was my dream come true, actually. I'm still really thankful for that moment, beautiful moment to me, that I was so excited. I was living with my parents back then. I remember I was receiving this email, I think late, during the late night. So I was just screaming, "Hey, wake up, guys!" I just have the option to release this track in my... it was my biggest dream at that moment, and everyone was really happy with me.
So Frozen Dreams was made before you made North Pole then?
Yes, it was made a few weeks before it.
Cool. So I mean, One of my questions was like, was it easy to find a label? So yeah, it was really
Yeah, that
label.
Yeah, so it was really easy. I actually just wanted to, as I tell you, that was my biggest dream that moment, and it when it happened, it's actually opened me a lot of doors, and it actually pushed me forward and start actually my career in this period as a Nitrous Oxide.
Yeah. So yeah, besides Above and Beyond, who else did support the North Pole?
Yes, I think that really many DJs have been supporting. I can't tell you at the moment who it was, but of course it was also played on a State of Trance and many others radio shows and during the sets of other DJs. So yeah, it comes really quickly. Of course, this track was played for a longer period than nowadays, because the lifespan of tracks back then was a bit longer.
Yeah, like a few months.
Like a few months actually. So yeah, it was pretty cool to me. Of course, I'm still playing this track during my sets. I have few mashups that I'm still playing. I really always enjoying to playing it. But yeah, that was the time that actually a lot of people were playing it.
Yeah.
And also the next singles that I also have released in Anjunabeats, and that was supported by Above and Beyond, was the same. Then everything changed a little bit when we went to a digital era of this kind of music. But yeah, of course, that period between 2006 and let's say 2012, it was the greatest period for me, the most successful, and that was the time when I had the most gigs all over the world, actually.
So was musical already a full-time job for you back then?
Back then, when I was studies back then, and even I was during the studies. I unfortunately ended up the studies because
what the card.
I was studying IT.
Okay.
I ended up the studies actually because of this, movement with this career, and it was so quick, so would give me some opportunities, and I decided that I want to go that way. I want to be more in music production. I want to learn more. I want to producing more. So I just decided to go full-time with music. Of course, before I had some other options. I was actually producing, as I told you, music since 2001 was actually the year that I started to making music that have been played on a clubs in Poland. That time I was on a different alias. It was called DJ Speed. I was playing and producing.
Need for Speed?
Yes, also connected with Need for Speed, of course. I was producing some tracks more like well known from this scene, also club scene from here, from Netherlands. Back then, something like Clubhead, like DJ John.
Oh yeah.
Something more like speed garage stuff. So it was the music that was really growed up in clubs in Poland back then. And so I have some experiences as a DJ. I had some background in producing music, so I just decided I want to go forward with it, and just a bit spontaneous decision, but wanted to see how when it's gonna lead me.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a good decision.
Yeah, I'm really happy for it, to be honest. Sometimes I'm thinking that IT is also a good way, but definitely music is giving me a lot more happiness, to be honest.
Good. Yeah, there's some good news because you just finished a brand new album. And so what can you tell about the album?
Yes, I'm really happy that I finally did it because it took some time. Actually, changed my mind about how this album should look many times during the last 3 years. Actually, the last decision was, let's say, half year ago, that even not half a year, about 4 months ago, when I just decided to go a bit different than the first idea of this album. It's gonna be something a bit different than my previous albums. I went a bit more, let's say, it's straight housey way, and also there are some songs like cinematic movie music. So yeah, we'll see. I'm really curious how people will react for this album, because it's something totally different than I did before. But this is, to be honest, the kind of music that I really wanted to make for a long time. Always push it somewhere at the at the side. It's not a good moment to make project like this, but I finally decided to go that way, and I'm really happy that I'm finally finished it, and I'm really excited and can wait to release it and see how people will react for this music.
So what's the title of the album?
The title of the album is Redmoon. Actually, it's connected by my alias from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, it's actually funny because I thought that this album will be more like a music that I was releasing under this Redmoon alias. But yeah, actually I changed my mind about the music, but title stayed the same because of the main track that I produced, which is still really trancey, maybe not the same as my usual stuff, because it's slower, but it still contains some really let's say classic trance elements, like arpeggiated melody, like this typical trance percussion, well-known 808, 909 sounds. So yes, it's something something really classic, but this is one of 2 tracks that sound more trancey on this album. All the rest, it's kind different than usual.
Yeah. So there's 21 tracks on the album. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But I have so many ideas during the last half a year, and actually all of those ideas I really wanted to be on this album. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I just feel it, and I decided to make it like a long journey with different kind of music, because there is really a lot of styles and a lot of inspirations from the past, also from those music that I was listening as a kid. You can hear some inspiration from Depeche Mode, like some kind of percussion. Mm-hmm. Like from Genesis, like some inspiration from Mike Oldfield, like many other artists, even Roxy Music.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
There's really a lot of kind of inspirations and sounds that I love from the old albums that I'm still listening to sometimes. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's some inspired by nowadays music things. There's like 2 or 3 tracks that are more techno inspired. Some breaking beats track, and of course, all of them contains some of my let's say characteristic sounds. So it's a bit long journey, but I think for someone who lived in the same area as I was growing up in the 90s. He can listen and hear some nice sounds from that kind of music from back then.
Yeah, and it's like fully instrumental, low collaborations.
Yes, this time I made it a little. I say it's a little selfish, but I decided to go just myself with album. So it's like 100% me. I even did all those mastering for these tracks, so it's from A to Z, tracks produced, mixed, mastered by me. Also, it didn't contain any vocals by any vocalists. It's in typical instrumental electronic album. I really feel that I want to do something like this, and this is just, straight me.
So when is the album coming out?
This album is coming out on the 20th of March, and it's gonna be that date. The first track of the album is called Equinox. Actually, this is the Equinox line. Yes, let's say it's right, like Jean-Michel Jarre. It was in French. Equinox.
Oh yeah, Equinox.
Yeah. This is regular in English. But it's gonna be 20 of March in all of the records streaming services. Then I'm gonna release the CD, but still don't have a date. It's gonna be known really pretty soon.
A cassette tape as well, or not?
That will be something really cool.
Yeah. So your first album, Dreamcatcher, came out via Anjunabeats, and your second album, Aurora, got released via Resonance Music. But this time there's no label involved. Why is that?
As I told you before, I decided to go this time more like myself, and didn't involve other people into my into producing this album. So probably because there's no vocals on this album, I decided to even not showing this album to many labels, because I know that nowadays most of those trance albums that coming out contains vocals. I decided to go to full instrumental, so also tried to release in my own label and decided to go that way this time. So we'll see. I'm really curious if people gonna dig this and gonna like this music. I'm pretty sure that some of my older fans will understand me why I decided to go that way this time.
Yeah. So you're also active on Patreon. What can people expect if they sign up there?
Yes, it's really nice people that are out there. We are connected at the moment. I'm starting to growing up this audience. Let's say. For now, I'm also putting there some of my older mashups and stuff like this. So it's this kind of music, like remixes, unreleased things. I'm also putting on my Patreon.
Yeah.
This is a really nice opportunity to share this kind of things that like music that people know from my live sets that I played back in the days. Also the fresh mashups and remixes, unreleased remixes, some bootlegs, let's say it straight.
A lot of exclusive stuff.
Yeah, because this is a stuff that you cannot actually release yourself. But I can share it with my friends and also with people out there. Yeah. So it's really nice that you can make it through this kind of portals.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So so there's an album coming up. What else can we expect from you later this year?
I have a lot of tracks, cooperations with other artists. I have now 2 tracks with Boomjinx that's coming up really soon on Enhanced Music. I also started to producing with Simon Gregor. It's a really talented chap from United Kingdom. We started to producing music like together like 1.5 years ago. Our first single together was released on Anjunabeats. That's last summer. It was called Fusion. Now we just released like a week ago another track in Darren Tate's Mondo record label. It's called Blood Colored, and also we have a few more tracks. We actually also think about start releasing our music under the other project name now. So yeah, we'll see. It's a nice plan, and we really had the same taste of music.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool collaboration that I'm really looking forward. What's gonna happen next?
Are there still people you want to work with?
Of course, I have some dream, my dream cooperations with all those bigger guys from this industry. I also would like to work with some vocalists. Actually, I had also few vocalists at the moment that I'm cooperating on some tracks. Also Katie Marne. We have produced a really nice breakbeat tune, so we'll see if we're gonna release it soon on some nice label. But there's of course a lot of artists that I would like to cooperate with. Maybe even not from these typical trance guys, but let's say it straight. Always a big dream of mine was producing a track with Above and Beyond, of course, because I was huge fan. Still, I'm a huge fan of those guys, and this is one of those dreams that I wish maybe one day I'm gonna have opportunity to work with them. But there's still a lot of things I don't want to. I have in mind, and we'll see. I'm gonna move forward just to make it happen, maybe.
Yeah. Father, is there still something on your bucket list, music-wise?
Once again?
Is there still something on your bucket list, music-wise? Something that you still want to achieve, like a #1 record?
Like #1 record. Of course, I would like to get Grammy, of course.
Yeah.
Like every music producer, maybe one day. I still have time for working with artists. As I say, I'm even more open nowadays for working with others than in the past. And I'm doing a lot of projects with other artists. So maybe one day there will be opportunity to work with someone who will be big enough to try pushing me
to get that Grammy.
To get that Grammy, right?
Well, if you get that Grammy, they will show this part of the interview.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, me too. And the last question: pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
As a big fan of Italian food and also a big fan of pineapple, I would say that for me, pizza prosciutto with pineapple as a dessert after it. That would be the great.
All right, thanks a lot for your time and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right, that was it. This week's vlog, the story behind North Pole by Nitrous Oxide. Chris, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and very important, make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.